Hi guys, I am Vikrant Massey.
And I'm Shanaya Kapoor.
We are here, courtesy IMDb.
Yes.
We're going to ask each other lots of questions.
Some fun questions.
Some fun questions.
वैसे तुम ये गांधारी बन के क्यों घूम रही हो? All the best, Jahan.
When you got to know that you're going to be a part of AKG, which is Aankhon ki Gustaakhiyan for our audiences, we very fondly call it AKG. What was your reaction? Where were you? What were you doing? Do you remember that moment? Do you remember what you felt like?
I think I'll always remember that moment. It was a special feeling, but it happened very suddenly. I had auditioned actually for another project and it didn't unfortunately work out. I got a call a few days later and they gave...
Fortunately for us.
Yeah, it always works out for the best, always. But in that moment, I obviously didn't like that feeling, and of course I was feeling very low, but of course I took it as feedback, and I was like, okay, I'll work on myself better and I'll take the feedback that they'd given me. But Panchmi, we had worked together for this audition, she liked the tape. And
I'll just sort of spell it out for the audiences. Panchmi Gavri is one of the leading casting directors in India.
She is, and she's the best.
She's
really the best, and she really reached out to me, and she was really pushing me to do a lot of auditions at that time. So I'm really grateful for that. She's obviously auditioning so many people, but the fact that she thought of me and she thought to send that tape in because she really liked it. Sandy sir really liked it. And it was Sunday night, I was sitting at home having dinner with mom and dad, I remember. And I got a call from Panchmi saying that I've sent, your number to Sandy sir and he's going to message you, are you free tomorrow? So I said, yes, I'm free. And she was like, it's a film with Vikrant Massey and he'll give you the details tomorrow about the story, but he liked the tape. And I was like, no ways, this is crazy. It was not feeling real. I wanted to just ask you, what did you feel like working with someone new? Were you nervous?
Thank you for asking me this. I was actually very nervous, and I have to be very honest. What at that point in time mattered the most to me, and I think mostly throughout shooting AKG was, this is your first film. I better be worth your first film. And as an actor, as a dreamer myself, I know how important your first film or any opportunity is for that matter. But I had that jitter within me every time, we were doing a very crucial scene, because this is a romantic film. I've myself never done something like this before. I've never romanced a heroine before, I've never done that. I want to say this again, that you were so well prepared when I met you for the first time. When I saw that hard copy, that script, that bound script with you, which had those markings, colorful markings, and I was like, oh my God, this girl is super prepped. She even knows my lines. So I really need to pull up my game. I've always wanted to do a romantic film.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to romance in front of camera because, unanimously all of us would sort of talk about, romancing in front of the camera as a very, very challenging genre. And I wanted to sort of put myself there. And also because I think AKG itself is such a special story, and I'm sure you second me on that because it is unique.
It's so unique, you're right.
Playing a blind guy in the film. So to be authentic, to sort of get everything right, we ordered customized lenses from America, which would actually impair my vision around 80-85%. And we'd left that little margin for safety's sake because you're on a shooting set and you have so many equipments around to maneuver from point A to point B. That's it. And my entire body language changed. Like you said, the way I was paying attention to every word that was coming out of your mouth or Sandy's mouth, it completely changed the way I was thinking. As an actor, I'm sure you felt the same when you had those blindfold. And that is when I realized that this is one heck of a character. It's not going to be as easy as I thought it would. And on top of that, I'm playing two different musical instruments. I've never played any musical instrument.
There was actually so many firsts for you in this project.
And which I only realized while I was at it, playing a guitar for the first time, playing a piano for the first time.
When we were doing our scene, especially the first day, it was a bit of a switch off to the world, and I felt there was this instant connect to Jahan, and I guess for Jahan to Sabha, because
thank you for being my Sabha. I really want to thank you. Thank you for being my Sabha. And I'm glad that you are my Sabha, and I'm glad that I will always be your first co-actor.
Yes.
Your Jahan. Is your first film.
Yes.
With a blindfold on. You were aware of the risk you're taking because most actors actually sort of utilize that as one of the most important tools, their eyes.
Of course. I think it was just an initial connect to the script. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter, but I'm very superstitious in that way. During that time, I had posted a random photo, I'd done a shoot, and I put the song Aankhon ki Gustaakhiyan song. And at that time, Sandy sir was looking for the girl, and he heard the song, he narrated the story to me. Jahan was this character's name. I was like, that's my brother's name.
Yes.
And I just found it all just coming together, and I was feeling this really weird, crazy energy, like we were pulling each other in. But of course, I was very much aware of that risk. I think that was that chance that I can have to prove to the audience, what I've kind of been working on my craft. And I think this was that opportunity to take that risk. And I think as actors, we kind of want to do that. But coming to you, I mean, without a doubt, everyone looks up to you as an actor.
Yes,
really, genuinely. And I feel like your processes, of course, are very, very different with every film.
It was an extensive shoot. I'll
Yeah.
again give a precursor to this question. We shot for months. 4 महीने लग गए थे.
Yeah.
Good 4 months plus. उन 4 महीनों में shooting के दौरान, what was the toughest moment that you probably faced? Do you want to just sort of take us through with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think there were a lot of challenges and a lot that I had to learn and unlearn through the process.
Wow.
But I think as a person, I'm an overthinker and I overthink a lot. And I think with time, especially on this film, Sandy sir really, really taught me to just surrender to the moment. I think what Sandy sir taught me and what I learned and what was that challenge for me during this thing was, what about the in-between moments? What about just the moment where you're walking from point A to point B? How do you make that walk, Sabah? There was this moment where we had a conversation in the scene and I get up and I exit, and of course the focus remains on you because you're right there and you're lost in your thought of what the conversation was about, and I exit the frame. But of course while exiting, I'm not in focus, but you can see that I'm exiting and I'm taking the right and I leave the house. And he was just like, yeah, but Shanaya kind of knows the ladders here and Shanaya knows the tables here, so you're a little bit familiar, but Sabah doesn't, and add a flavor to it. Add a little bit of a flavor, add a little bit of a touch, add that nuance, maybe bump into the ladder, maybe trip and, see if your feet are okay or your toes okay. I think the toughest scene was the most special scene for me, which we've spoken about, was I think when we had that conversation right before the scene.
Yes.
I think for me I think that was a very, very special moment for me, and it was a very unnerving feeling for me as well.
Just to give the audiences some context, I'm sure that you guys will go and watch the film, in cinemas. So the scene that she's talking about is when it seems very simple that these two people are just having a conversation. But once that scene was over, and it was a lengthy scene, good 3 minutes plus. It was a 3 minutes plus scene. It was a single shot, and once that shot was done, there were like 120-30 people on the set. Everybody stood up and applauded her for her performance.
And I think I subconsciously didn't know how we were prepping for the scene, which was what was magical about it. And I think the reaction of me coming and hugging you after the scene was done was because I realized then what you were trying to do. You just knew that, okay, I know I'm going to pull this out of her.
No, you're giving me undue credit.
No,
it
really.
was all you. I mean it. वो 120-130 लोगों ने सेट पे खड़े होके तालियां बजाई हैं इनके लिए. Night shift चल रही थी. Everyone was like, it was biting cold.
Yeah, it was.
It was biting cold. But kudos to you for that.
What was your challenging scene? Was it the same scene or did you?
The toughest scene was the pre-climax when we were shooting on the railway track. And it was freezing cold.
Yes.
And पता ना मेरा नसीब ऐसा है Shanaya. I have to share this with everyone. ठीक है? Most of my films, I am shooting summer during winter. I am shooting winter during summer. I don't know why. I just don't know why. I could go on and on about it. I remember shooting for the opening sequence of Chhapak. हम दिल्ली में हैं और हम जुलाई की गर्मी में winter shoot कर रहे हैं. I was wearing 3 layers of clothes with a woolen sweater on top of me. While shooting Haseen Dilruba, हम गंगा जी की तट पर हैं, right at the banks of river Ganga. 6 वाले पे हम बैठे हुए हैं. Night shift चल रही है. 2 degree temperature and I just have to wear a single layer of t-shirt and pretend कि हम summer में shoot कर रहे हैं. And similarly in our case, when we were shooting abroad, cycle हम चला रहे हैं. आप weather app खोल के देख रहे हैं and it's like कि अच्छा it's only 2 degrees but feels like -10.
Yeah.
Because you're shooting summer in the film, all you have to do is just wear one additional layer, and that is so challenging.
Yeah.
But do you remember like जो
Yeah.
railway station पे हम जब shoot कर रहे
my
थे,
God,
it
yes.
was snowing.
It was
The
snowing.
wind was like literally billowing, not blowing but billowing out. It felt like -8, -9.
That was, you're right, that was.
Yeah, and we have to mouth our dialogues or itni intensity.
I feel like in the moment our faces were getting stuck.
Yeah,
So we was
our
feeling
jaws
like
were getting
ice.
locked because it was a lengthy scene. The Sandy had put a round trolley and he was calling cut at his own leisure. 1.5-2 minutes tak hum baatein kar rahe hain and after 30 seconds your jaws are getting locked.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a challenge, and to also remember your dialogues, and also because the camera is like right onto your face, the audiences can't know that you're freezing to death.
Yeah.
तो ये बड़ा challenging लगा था मुझे उस वक्त यार,
Yeah.
and it was very very challenging. You knew you're going to play a visually challenged person, but the first time you put the blindfold on, and you're not Shanaya anymore, but you are there as Sabha. What was it like?
Honestly, I think the first time I put the blindfold on my eyes and it was a full blackout. My thoughts were scattered. I literally had to be like, Shanaya, for this you really have to be calm, because without the visual cues it just felt like something had gone. Like I didn't know how to behave. I think,
almost like a brain fade moment.
yeah,
you could say, right?
yeah, and I realized that after that first day when I wore it, I need to put in time to get comfortable with this blindfold, because like we discussed earlier, I think for Sabha to play whatever that she had to and whatever she's feeling in the film with the blindfold, comfortable or not, Shanaya as a person had to get comfortable. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think is like your favorite, maybe top 5 films that are on IMDb?
Top 5 में एक बहुत अच्छी फिल्म है जिसका नाम है 12 Fail. ठीक है. I think वो number 1 पे है. Correct me if I'm not wrong.
Of course, it is.
Yes, it is on number 1. तो वो आप लोग देख सकते हैं अगर आप लोगों ने नहीं देखी है तो.
Of course, I'm gonna watch it again.
Oh my God, I'm sounding so pompous.
Because I've watched it twice already.
I know. Thank you for that. Jokes apart, besides that, yes, I think 12 Fail is a good film. It's worth your time. You should definitely watch it, and also because it's number 1 on IMDb. You should definitely watch it. I think The Godfather is a must watch for anybody, especially the younger generation. Lagan is another film which I think everyone should watch. It is a timeless epic. Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge.
Yeah.
How can you forget that? We are talking about romance. We are talking about music.
Classic.
An all-time classic. It is.
It is romance.
It is romance.
It's the definition of romance.
Definition of romance in India, especially.
Yeah.
Because I'm an Al Pacino fan, I'll probably go watch Scarface.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
Scarface is an incredible film. So yeah, these are my 5, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think you can't ever choose one. You can never
itni
choose
saari
one.
hain,
There's
right?
so many. But these were really, that's like good to like go back and rewatch these films.
Yeah,
There's so
they're
much.
timeless.
And you can actually, honestly, I think always on IMDb, you can always go and you can check out whatever you want, whatever you feel like you are not remembering and you want to maybe rewatch. They kind of have that list and
and
makes
get
it kind of easier.
in-depth insights as well.
Yeah, it
there are
really
so
makes
many-
it easier. And also, recently, I started seeing what's trending, like shows which are trending on IMDb. You can kind of check that out. So that kind of helps me on what to watch, because I feel like that scrolling, I'm like wasting a lot of time.
Doom scrolling जैसे कहते
Yeah,
हैं.
and then I'm
मैंने
like, I
ये
don't
नया
know what
term
to
सीखा है.
watch. So guys, this is Shanaya
And this is Vikrant. Go visit your nearest cinema.
Yes.
Watch the film Aankhon ki Gustaakhiyan, #AKG.
#AKG.
Tag us on your social media handles and tell us what you think about it. Shanaya Kapoor's first film, guys.